Okay, so we can see after that example, the manufacturer take all the risk, distributor have no risk. Manufacturer uh, view the risk of manufacturer is they might build more capacity than the sales, so they have to pay for more costs for extending the capacity, right? So they try to limit its production quantity. However, distributor they don't have any risk, so they would like the manufacturer to build as much capacity as possible. So that why they would like the manufacturers to build as much uh, capacity as possible because they don't have any risk, and if the manufacturer have more products, the distributor will have no worry about uh, lack of product, like they don't have enough products to provide them, so they just want the manufacturer produce as much as possible. So to make it happen, to make both of them profit, uh, they suggest to make the risk sharing supply contract, and where they can reduce the manufacturer risk, motivate the manufacturer to increase the production capacities, and also increase the profit of both manufacturer and distributor. So that is why supply contract appear here. And the first contracts they I will introduce you guys is the payback contracts. So what is the payback contracts? In this contract, the buyers agree to pay some agree upon price for any unit produced by manufacturer but not purchased by the distributor. So it means or when the manufacturer produce more than the demand, the distributor will pay for the manufacturer for those products at the price they already agree in the contract. And by signing this payback contract, the manufacturer will have incentive to produce more units since the risk associated with the unused capacity is decreased, right? Because the buyer will pay some money for them, so the risk will decrease. And of course, we can see it's obvious that the distributed risk will increase. However, when they sign this contract and the supply chain function will try to uh, balance, they try to make the benefit is more than a benefit they gain. For this one is more than the risk of distributor increase. So we will see this example. We go back with the ski jacket example. However, the changes here is for unsold products, distributor will pay a price $18 for manufacturer. So this is a new one compared to the previous example. So here we can calculate again that the manufacturer's marginal profit is equal to 80 because they sell at the price 80 minus the cost that is $55. So they also can get the marginal profit is $25 as the previous example. However, the manufacturer's marginal loss will be changed because they will pay, the distributor will pay for the manufacturer $18 for one unsold product. So the marginal loss will be 55 minus 20 and minus 18, and they will have $17. And the distributor marginal profit will equal to the selling price minus the cost. So they will have the marginal profit is $45. So we also use Excel to calculate the profit, and we can compare the profit to see what is the optimal production quantity when they sign the payback contract. So here, how can we calculate the manufacturer profit? So if the production quantity is less than the demand, the profit they gain is equal to production quantity multiplied by the marginal profit of manufacturer. So and minus the fixed cost. So this one is totally the same as the previous example when they don't use payback contract. But what will be changed is the unsold product will be paid by the distributor the amount of money, $18 per unit. So in the case that production quantity is larger than the demand, the profit of manufacturer will be calculated as the demand multiplied by the marginal profit minus the fixed cost and minus the loss, and the loss here is $17 instead of the $60. And the quantity the excess quantity is equal to the production quantity minus the demand. Okay, so we can calculate the value for the profit of manufacturer, and the same we can calculate the average profit. So look at this column, we can see that the optimal production quantity increased from 12,000 to 14,000. So manufacturer produce more up to 14,000, they can get the highest profit, that is 180,000 or $280. And the same we can calculate the profit for distributors. So okay, let's change this one to order quantity. So here everything is the same as the previous example. However, in the case that when order quantity is larger than the demand, the profit will be equal to the demand multiplied by the marginal profit, but minus the loss that they have is not the loss but the cost they have to pay for the unsold product from manufacturer as agreed in the payback contracts. So this is a total quantity, total unsold quantity multiplied by the price that they will pay, that is $18. And we can calculate at 14,000 quantity, the distributor profit will be $525,420. So we can draw the graph. Let's go back the slides. So we can see here in the graph that the manufacturer's average profit, and the second graph is the distributor average profit. So we can see that the distributor has much higher profit compared to manufacturer. So this is easy to explain in the real life, right? And here at the point of 14,000, the manufacturer will have the highest profit. Okay, and we can see obviously that the payback contract give the manufacturer incentive to increase its production quantity to 14,000 units instead of 12,000 units like before, and they can gain higher profit with $180,280, and the distributors profit also increase after when they sign their payback contracts, increase to $525,420, and we can calculate the total supply profit is equal to $705,700. So compared to non non-payback, non-sign, compare between the previous example that they don't sign the payback contracts and this example when they sign the payback contracts, both manufacturer and distributor have higher profit, and the total supply chain profit also increase when they sign their payback contracts. The second type contract I want to share with you is the cost sharing contracts. So we can see that one important reason why the manufacturer does not produce enough is because of the high production cost. Okay, so if the manufacturer can convince the distributors to share some of the production cost, the manufacturer will produce more, right? And however, the manufacturer will produce more when they can convince a distributor to share some of the production cost. However, why the distributor should do that? Because when they pay a part of production cost, the distributor will decrease their profit if they are not able to sell more profit. Sell more units, sell more products. So that's why they create the cost sharing contracts. Then where the distributor will share some of production cost with the manufacturer, but in returns, manufacturer has to give some discount on this wholesale price. So what the distributor get is they can get cheaper price for the products. So let's look at the example and try to calculate if the cost sharing contracts really give them benefit. And the same as the previous example, but what they change is the distributor will pay 33% of manufacturer's production cost, and in returns, manufacturer reduce the wholesale price from $80 to $62. So here we can calculate the manufacturer's marginal profit is equal to the selling price here, the wholesale price $62 minus the variable cost. So we can calculate the marginal profit of manufacturer is equal to $7. And how about manufacturer's marginal loss? This will be equal to the cost minus the salvage value, and the loss is $35 because they sell to the discount store at the price $20, but the cost they produce the product is $55, so they lose $35 per unit. And the distributor's marginal profit is equal to the selling price $125 minus the wholesale price that is $62. So we can calculate the marginal profit of distributors is equal to $63. Okay, so we have those value. We can calculate the profit of manufacturer and distributor. So here I will just show you the formula here, so please try to do it by yourself. Create an Excel file and do it by yourself. Okay, let me just explain a little bit. So also we have two cases. The first case is when production quantity is less than demand, then the profit of manufacturer will be equal to the production quantity multiplied by the marginal profit of manufacturer. Sorry, no, this one is the selling price. So this is the revenue of selling the production quantity. So here is revenue. How to calculate the profit is equal to the revenue minus the cost, right? So this is the revenue minus the variable cost. Variable cost is equal to production quantity multiplied by variable cost, that is 55. However, the distributor promised to pay 33% of the production cost for the manufacturer. It means that the manufacturer only have to pay for 67% of the production cost. So that's why I multiply by 0.67 here, and after that minus the fixed cost. So we can calculate the profit of manufacturer in the case that production quantity is less than the demand. The second case is when production quantity is larger than the demand. So the profit of manufacturer will be calculated as the demand multiplied by the selling price, the wholesale price, and here is the revenue as well, and minus the variable cost. So maybe some students will not understand why this one is the demand, because they only can sell the quantity is equal to the demand, right? However, they have to produce the quantity is the real quantity, the production quantity. That's why they have to pay for the cost following the production quantity. They minus the fixed cost, and the quantity that unsold they can sell to the discount store with the price $20. So here is a part of revenue as well. So for example, here in the case 10,000, so the profit of manufacturer will equal to 8,000 multiplied by 62 minus 10,000 because they produce 10,000, and multiply by 55 multiplied by 67% minus the fixed cost, and the value that unsold, that is 10,000 minus 8,000. So you have 2,000 left that you cannot sell, right? And multiply by the salvage value, that is $20. So on and so forth. And the same as the previous example, you can calculate the manufacturer average profit, and we can see that the production quantity increased to 14,000, and they can get the profit is 182,300 $380. The same, you can calculate the distributor average profit, that is equal to, let's see, we also separate it in two cases. The first one is when the, okay, here is the order quantity. When the order quantity is less than the demand, the profits of distributor will equal to the also revenue, the order quantity multiplied by the selling price. Okay, wait, this is not revenue, this one is the profit. So this is equal to the order quantity multiplied by the marginal profit of distributor. And let me double check. Yes, okay, so that is the marginal profit and minus the order quantity multiplied by the cost, because they have to share, they have to pay the for some pay for some cost of production of manufacturing. So if they don't need to share, if they don't sign the payback, if they don't sign the cost sharing contract, the profit they can get is this one. But now they sign the cost sharing contract, that's why they have to minus some money that they have to pay for the manufacturer, and it's equal to the order quantity multiplied by the variable cost multiplied by 33%, because the distributor promised agreed to pay 30% of their production cost of manufacturing. In the case that order quantity is larger than the demand, we also can calculate that the profit of distributor is equal to the demand multiplied by the marginal profit, and this is the profit of distributor and minus the cost they share with their manufacturer. So we can calculate the profit of distributor in the case they sign the cost sharing with contract with the manufacturer. So at the quantity 14,000, or we can calculate the average profit of distributor is equal to $523,320. And we can see here, when they sign the cost sharing contracts, the manufacturer has incentive to increase its production quantity to 14,000 units, and the profit of manufacturer also increase compared to the case that they don't sign the cost sharing contracts. And distributors profit is also increase, and the total supply profit is equal to the payback contracts, and of course it's higher when compared to the profit of the case that they don't sign any contracts. Okay, however, the cost sharing contracts has a limitation that they require the manufacturer to share its production cost information with the distributor, and of course the manufacturers are reluctant to do that when they don't want to share the cost information with the distributor, right? That is easy to understand. So how the cost sharing contract be implemented in practice? How? Try to think and answer these questions. So basically in practice, the distributor and the manufacturer will make agreement that the distributor will purchase one or more components that the manufacturer needs. Like the manufacturer don't share the cost information with the distributor, but they agree that the distributor will buy uh, one or more components that the manufacturer needs, and they will pay for those components. And however, the components will be delivered to the manufacturer's facility. So the manufacturer will use the components to produce the finished products for distributors. Okay,